Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dasrul.
Hi, Huang, Audrey. Can you hear me okay?
Perfect.
All right. That's good. Just want to check. This techie thing sometimes, is this a bit annoying, Seems all okay, yeah?
Yeah, all seems good.
All right. Good to see you, Huang. Hi, Audrey. Good to see you.
Hi,
Good to see
Dasrul. Nice
Yeah.
to see you too.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
you,
Good
Tom.
afternoon. Nice. Yeah, Tom, nice seeing you all. Thank you so much. Oh, Hichasu, how are you?
Gary, I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. All good in Hong Kong. Thank you.
Wow, that's great. Yeah. Well, Jakarta was badly raining yesterday. But, today it's quite good. Good sky, clear sky. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. So this is gonna be interesting webinar,
Yeah.
huh?
Hey, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Gary.
Hi, Gavin.
Hey, Woon. Hey, Tom. How about we do a little bit introduction first? So let me first introduce. Woon is one of my colleagues from Malaysia. So he will be the host for the event for today. We have Audrey.
Hi.
Audrey is newly
Audrey.
joined committee member from Malaysia. So she will be representing Malaysia today for us to talk about the market. And also we have Dasrul. He's the man from Indonesia. So he in charge of Indonesia chapter. So he helped us with a lot of events in Indonesia. Also we have Tom. Tom is from City University. So the City University is the main sponsor for the event for today. So yeah, so thanks, Tom. So I think Gavin is also here. Maybe perhaps Gavin is the guest from City University. So if Gavin can hear us, maybe Gavin give us a little bit of an introduction, and then maybe each of the speaker can give a little introduction about themselves first. Yeah. So
Yep.
so yeah, maybe we start with
Hello?
Woon. Woon, you can introduce yourself first, and then we can pass to Audrey, and then and then Gavin,
Hello,
and so on.
So, well, basically, my job here is to make members happy. Members happy, Gary's happy. Yeah, so just trying to keep everyone happy. Yeah, if there is anyone that want to go for ACC member or try to host event with ACC, that's where I will be. Yeah, so that's all about me. Perhaps I could hand it over to Tom.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. And Tom, and I'm the director of the Global Executive MBA program and 60 Masters program in the College of Business in the City University of Hong Kong. So very proud to sponsor this event this afternoon. The main purpose of doing something like that, I think we did some in-person event sponsorship before, but this is the time we do the first event online and trying to, as you might know, because the program itself, we really want to get market presence in Southeast Asia. We really want to get some students from the Southeast Asia market, from Indonesia, from Malaysia, from Vietnam, from Thailand. And this is also actually the theme of the program, and trying to grab the senior executives from China, Hong Kong, and Southeast Asia in our platform to create opportunities. So that's why not only the student recruitment purpose, we also want to have some meaningful discussions between the Southeast Asia regions, China and Hong Kong region. So hope all the best to our webinar later on. Thank you very much.
Maybe Dasrul can be the next.
Yes, sure. Why not? Good afternoon, everyone. It's Dasrul Chaniago here. I guess my role is the same as Woon. It's just to make everyone happy. Is to provide as many information as possible. And I think the effectiveness of the webinar, where people will get sort of the landscape or information or insight about the market in ASEAN, I think that's going to be most speakers are critical role here, so I try to be playing a good role in this particular case. Hopefully, we have not only sort of the one-way communication. So let's make this a very interactive sort of the webinar, and then hopefully there will be some sort of follow-up beyond this webinar. That's it from me. Thanks.
So, Gavin, can tell us about yourself.
Hello, do you hear me?
I can hear you well. Yeah.
Yes, howdy everyone. This is Gavin. I'm from Guangzhou HJ Import Export Company. Yeah, this is great. It's great. It's a great pleasure to be attending this discuss about this unlocking business. Yes, yeah. At the moment, I'm focused on medical business import export. Yeah. I already doing more than 20 years import export business. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Gavin.
Thanks, Gavin. Okay, now we have the last panelist. He's just joined us, Tuong. Hi, Tuong. Can you hear us?
Oh, sorry, it's a bit rushed for our last meeting. So, hi.
Hi,
My name is
Tuong.
Just introduce myself quickly. My name is Tuong. I work for the AQUIS Capital. This is a asset management firm headquartered in Zurich. So I in charge for the Asia as the representative of the market.
Perfect. Look forward to hear more from you later during the forum.
Yes, surely, yes. Happy to share my perspective.
Sure.
Because we have the others panelists as well. I just try to correctly announce your name. So we have Mr. Wong. I call him Mr. Wong, right?
You can just call me Woon.
Wong. Miss Audrey. Audrey, is it correct? Audrey, yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Dasrul.
Yeah, it's call me Das. Nice
Das.
meeting you, Tuong.
That's okay.
Yes.
And Gavin, of course. All right. Yes. I think in general, do we have any? Do we need any rehearsal?
So perhaps I can walk you through the flow, just so that everyone knows what's going to happen next. I think first thing first, I need to check. I think I have not done this checking yet. Can everyone here see the screen that I'm sharing right now?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I think first thing first, of course, I will do the greeting, just to greet everyone, and then it will be followed by the Tom. So he will share about the program. Okay, so this will take about 10 to 15 minutes.
Yes,
Right.
please.
Yes. And then after that, we have 35 minutes for our forum. So yeah, we have to manage our time well. Okay. After the forum session, then we have the Q&A, and that concludes our event. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
sure. So the idea is really to drive engagement later, just trying to get them ask as many questions as possible, quality question as possible.
Okay. So I think it's a bit high level, right? So high level in terms of, I think from my
That's right.
side, I can go through in terms a bit high level for ASEAN market in terms of our perspective, and then I maybe deploy more for the Vietnam perspective, because we also run the Vietnam fund as well for the last 12 years. We've been here, investment here. So that's why I think we can share more for the Vietnam side.
Sure. Look forward.
That will be great, Tuong. How many, by the way, Gary, audience we expected today?
So we have around 60 people registered for the event. And we just sent them a reminder email just now. Yeah, so just make sure they will be attending the event. And also one thing, we will be recording this webinar. So just in case some of the members missed the event, so we will be sharing the recording with them afterward. So I think some of them are logging in now. So I just managing the login side, and and at the same time I will be listening to the the discussion just to make sure everything's okay. Yeah.
A guy from Indonesia asked me the passcode just in case also.
Oh yes. Yeah.
I sent the passcode to them
Yeah.
already.
Thanks.
But
Yeah.
maybe the other participant also will need that passcode. You can share.
Yeah. I just find out some of them need the passcode. Yeah. So I'm sending it to them now. Yeah, just to make sure all of them can get in. Yeah. So yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah. So thanks a lot. Yeah. Maybe we can pass to Audrey to introduce herself to us. I think she's the only lady here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like that. I
Yeah.
now go anywhere. Also, I'm the only woman in all the men's. Yeah. My name is Audrey. I'm actually based in Malaysia, Johor Bahru. Recently, I have set up a new company in Singapore, and also I have an existing company in Malaysia also. So we are restructuring now to be going to a new business industry like maternity center. So we will be expansion this to from Singapore to Johor. So looking forward to see if, let's say, all of you keen to it, then let me know so we can explore together. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Audrey.
In another minute, then it will be 2 p.m. So I'll let everyone in. Phase 2, I'm going to let them in now.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So, okay, I see. Let's see. I think we have 16 of us joining currently. Okay, anyway, we'll start this session. Okay, just to keep the ball rolling. Okay, I foresee that we will have more participants coming in. I can see lots of different nationalities coming in. I really appreciate, on behalf of ACC, really appreciate all of you coming here. So a warm welcome to all of you for joining today's webinar titled Unlocking Business Opportunities Across ASEAN Market. My name is Woon. I'm the Vice President of Asia CEO Community, and I'm honored to be your MC and moderator today. So really thank you for your time to join us for the exciting session. So joining us today, we have 4 distinguished panelists from across the ASEAN region to share more about the market potential, innovation, cultural dynamics, and trends so within this region. So before we begin, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge our sponsor for making today's event happen, which is CDU HK. So their global EMBA program is all about shaping people like us to become global leaders through a blend of global perspective, that's 1, and 2, practical insights that set them apart from other EMBA programs. So now I would like to welcome Tom to tell us more. So over to you, Tom.
Thank you very much, Huang, and thank you very much. And we are very proud to be the sponsor of this afternoon webinar. My name is Tom. I'm the director of the Global and Global Masters EMBA program and 60 Masters program. So maybe can Gary allow me to share the? Okay, all right. Just a very rough introduction. 10 to 15 minutes introductions to you in case you feel that program is very interested about coming over to Hong Kong, to come back to the university. Maybe we understand, or maybe to look at the new business concepts, skill sets, leadership style during that very exciting EMBA program. Hong Kong, okay, because since today all the 4 speakers come from the ASEAN region, and with Gavin as well, who is actually our incoming students for the Executive MBA program from China. And Hong Kong is absolutely a place that we are trying to do this role, not only about Hong Kong, it's also applied to our program as well. And why today we are sponsoring this webinar? A lot of the business opportunities in the fast-growing economies, like in ASEAN region and Hong Kong, and also in southern part of China, especially what we call the Greater Bay Area. And our program and Hong Kong is like a super connector. We create a platform trying to grab all the senior executives together in our program, so that we try to see if there are any possible business opportunities can be created. So these are some of the key competitiveness about Hong Kong. We are the freest economy. We are the top. We go back to the top 3 world financial hub, and also Hong Kong has a very wonderful tax-friendly systems. In case you guys are interested to maybe having a business in Hong Kong is absolutely an ideal place within Asia. I know maybe you know better about Singapore, but Hong Kong, in terms of the strategic location, the center location of whole Asia, is one of the places maybe you can consider. And today, we are talking about a short introductions about the EMBA program. These are some of the reasons, okay, when I look at the Fortune magazine 1 or 2 years ago, okay, and one of the CEOs talking about why senior executives like you might consider doing a EMBA with a new level of confidence, even stepping up in the hierarchy, network, the power of network, learning more from a global perspective. And EMBA and MBA, the main difference is about you are learning world business problems, what happened right now, okay? But an MBA program always focusing on case studies, which has been already passed, okay? Maybe for a few years ago, and especially after COVID, a lot of the ways we do business, the business situation, the scenario, geopolitics have been changed. So that's why EMBA program would be a very good time for you to refresh about your business skill set, your development, and understanding about the world business world. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you each of the points. And when we design the program, absolutely, we consider about why should an executive, senior executive, or entrepreneurs should do an executive MBA, enhancing business skill, understand different business perspective, development of your leadership style. You will own a global professional network. And the one thing very important is about the immediate applicability. I will show you later how it is very different of CTUHK Global EMBA program than a normal ordinary EMBA program. We don't have one single professor to teach you one subject from the scratch till you complete that subject. We got 10 to 12 business leaders in the course, in each of the course when you are joining the Executive MBA program. And coming to Hong Kong is part of the program, and it is compulsory to go to Cambridge University, the Judge Business School, for a 1-week global learning tour. Okay, and the last point is something very interesting. Tech 300 is a very important initiative in CTUHK about entrepreneurship and incubation. We got more than 850 startup companies within that Tech 300 initiative. You can either invest or participate as one of the startup or maybe accelerator to contribute in our startup entrepreneurship ecosystem. I will tell you more if you're interested. So what is the value proposition? We are trying to differentiate our executive MBA program in a very different way. Okay, a lot of EMBA program, let's say in Hong Kong, in China, in Singapore, the program has a lot of one single dominant nationalities of, in terms of the students. A lot of the students, even in Hong Kong, even we have a very international perspective EMBA program, a lot of them, they come from mainland China. Okay, but our program as I talked in the beginning, we are trying to create business opportunities because we are trying to get students, 1/3 come from Hong Kong, 1/3 come from ASEAN region, like Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, all the different countries are within the ASEAN. And then another 1/3 of the students come from the Greater Bay Area within mainland China. Okay, so these are the emerging fastest growing economies. And the program itself, when we decided that as a branded learning design. Okay, so we understand senior executives very busy like you, cannot be away from the office for too long time or very frequently. We have a 16-month full-time mode and 21-month part-time mode. Okay, no matter you join full-time mode or the part-time mode, you will only spending about 30 days, okay, out of the office in our CTU campus, along with that 1 week in Cambridge University. Other than the in-person classes, we will allow students to do online program. Okay, so you can do online or you can come to CTU. It's very flexible in terms of the design. In case this is the first time you have heard about CTU HK, who are you? Who is this university? We're the number 62 university in the world. We're top 100 university, top 10 in Asia in 2025 QS ranking, number 3, the top 3 in Hong Kong. And in terms of the most international universities by the Times Higher Education ranking, we are number 1 in the world for consecutively 2 years, 2024 and 2025. Okay, and business school, top 5 in Asia. I hate actually to talk too much about rankings when describing a university or a business school. So these are the 5 elements we really hope that we can deliver to our students. And after you finish the program, you can understanding more about the effectiveness or the advantages of our EMBA program is trying to get you more empowerment, enhancing your leadership, leading you to innovate or transform your business to the next level, or maybe from the 2nd generation of your business to the 3rd generation, and definitely the excellence in terms of the business, networking, and advancement and career advancement. So what is the curriculum? So far, this is the 3 pillars approach. Okay, so we, as I said, out of the office number is just about 30 days. Okay, so you will still be having a lot of the time working in your Malaysia office, in your Thailand office, in your Vietnam office, Indonesia office. You will only have to come to Hong Kong 5 to 6 times, and every time you will come for 5 days. Okay, we maximize the time you do when you are in Hong Kong for 5 days and 1 week to Cambridge University, because the programs, the features of the program is very differently. When we run the program, 5 days residential course, you stay, learn, and live with your 30 classmates together. Okay, we have a hotel, we have a lodge in the university campus. So this is the residential course, and I would say this is really the core backbone of the program. Online core courses is like those academic knowledges about finance, econ, accounting. We leave it to online. Okay, we don't want to waste too much of your time. You know about that area, but as a rigorous kind of academic program, we need to still give you some theory, some basic understandings, the nitty-gritty of the different business knowledges, and +1, the global learning tour. Okay, and one advantage on the bottom left-hand corner, okay, there is a part-time and the full-time mode. Full-time, it doesn't mean you need to quit your job. Totally not. Okay, you stay back in your office, stay back in your country, but just trying to pack a little bit intensive of the program in 1.5 years time. Okay, instead of the normal for the local people 2 years to 5 years, but the advantage we themed it as a full-time program. The reason is that after you finish a program, you can stay back in Hong Kong for 2 years visa without any conditions. So in case you're thinking about immigration, let's say to Hong Kong, the 7 years permanent residency requirement, we already are here for that 1.5 years in Hong Kong study, and then another 2 years, 24 years IANG visa, that's already satisfied half of it. So this is the curriculum structure. 4 minimum subjects in terms of the residential course, 4 online core courses, academic knowledges, electives. Okay, so you can do elective subjects in our specialized master's program as well. When I do my MBA. I don't have any subjects about what is AI. Okay, so you can come back to the university to learn AI for master's program and one trip to Cambridge. And this is what I talk about, the backbone residential course. 5 days, 5 to 6 times to Hong Kong. And during that 5 days, we start the program on Wednesday till Sunday. Okay, so you fly to Hong Kong Tuesday night, you start your course on Wednesday afternoon till Sunday. You can fly back to Malaysia or Indonesia on Monday morning. And during that 5 days residential course, we do industry sharing, company visit, dinner talk is something just like an alumni gathering. 20% will be focusing on theory, and a lot of the programs will be focusing on networking. When I tell you in the beginning, we are not only one single professor will teach you from the beginning till you finish one subject. This is the example of one of the residential course, ESG. Okay, and then when you look at the ESG has a spectrum consisting of a lot of different areas like social entrepreneurship, climate change, electric vehicle, regulations, asset management from finance point of view, carbon neutrality. Each of the subject area under ESG will be taught by the senior executives from that particular subject area. Okay, so that's why you will understand why the program is extremely practical. We are going to launch our program again. The 2025 intake will start in September, and this is exactly what we are going to deliver. Okay, in our first residential course, leadership, management, and strategies. And you can see on the slide right now, around 10 professors, adjunct professors, and industry leaders are joining this class for the teaching. And you can see they come from very high level in terms in the industry, like the 26th of September. Okay, when you look at the 26th September, Friday, at 2 p.m., we start by Mr. Gilbert Lee, and he is the head of the strategy and planning and chief of staff of Hanshan Bank in China. Okay, and in fact, Gilbert is actually the son of our chief executive of Hong Kong, John Lee. Okay, so really a senior level people teaching you in your classroom. And like 27th September, Saturday, 7:30 to 9 p.m., we have Joe, Mr. Joe I. He is actually the chairman of McKinsey China. Okay, to talk about leadership. So again, a very practical program. Within one subject, you will meet 10 professors, adjunct professors, and business leaders. And this is the 1 week ingredient to Cambridge. And you will go to Cambridge in around June, about 7 to 8 lectures. And you will also experience about the learning atmosphere in the University of Cambridge. And this is what I talk about 5 times, 5 days to Hong Kong, 1 week to Cambridge University. Other things, we leave it to online. Very flexible program curriculum, not involving too much of your time to be in Hong Kong, but you have to come to Hong Kong for in-person networking. Within that one slide, you look at the calendar. Let's say on the top left-hand corner, we start the first course. I show you the calendar. I show you the timetable, right? We start from actually 24th to 28th. Okay, the 5 days. Look at the calendar with the red color is the time you have to come to Hong Kong. And a lot of the months like October, December, January, February, you actually don't have classes. And yellow color in April 2026, corporate finance and marketing strategies is a time you can choose to come to Hong Kong or you can do it online. Okay, and in June, okay, June 2026, there will be a global learning tour to University of Cambridge. Or if you want to go one more, we have in July again to IE Business School in Spain. Okay, so part-time mode may be more suitable for students who are local Hong Kong senior professionals. Okay, but exactly the way we do the residential course, online course, and talking about the faculty, okay, we have our faculty members. They are all the star professors within the university, okay? So led by our Associate Dean, Professor Michael Huang, and he is actually the advisor of a lot of central banks in Southeast Asia. He knows very well about Laos, Cambodia, Malaysia, Thailand economy. And others, I can't tell you every one of them, okay? So maybe if you have interest, if you have time, please feel free to look at the website. And these are the adjunct professors. They come from the industry, okay? And alumni profile is very important, okay? Because you are joining an EMBA program, the most important thing is actually you are joining an elite community. And as a result, a lot of them, 75 or 80% of them, they're GM, general manager or above, come from different industries, finance, IT, property, and a lot of them you can't even diversify because the essence or the beauty of a good EMBA program, students, they come from all different industries. 50% of them, they come from conglomerates, and 50% they come from family businesses, because a lot of our students, alumni, they are actually finding solution for sustaining their family businesses from second generation to the third, from the third to the fourth. And these are some of the alumni we want to feature to you. They are all senior executives, entrepreneurs, family businesses, or senior professionals are working in a conglomerate. Again, you can find all the profiles on the website. Okay, so the final one, my final slide, is about how to get in. Okay, we are quite selective to say so, okay, to be honest, because we only run a very small class size, only 30 students for one intake, and we only have one intake every year. So far, we already got 60% full of the program. So not many seats are available, and the minimum requirement is 1 bachelor degree, minimum 10 years of work experience, and the program is taught in English. So if, let's say, your first undergraduate degree or master's degree is not taught in English, you will need to provide TOEFL or IELTS. And our program, EMBA, very much values on your work experience. Okay, so if, let's say, I even don't have a bachelor degree, but I have a higher diploma, I have a very good experience, can I still apply? Can I still try? The answer is yes. Okay. Tuition fees is about $108,718 US dollars, but we are very generous, okay, on giving merit-based scholarships. It's about 25% deductions of the tuition fees. And our next round deadline, maybe the second last deadline, 20th of May. In case if you are interested to the program, please get in touch with me. I will type my email address on the chat box. And thank you so much. Thank you, Woon. And I hope you all enjoyed a wonderful webinar panel discussions about unlocking business opportunities in the ASEAN region with our incoming executive MBA students, Gavin. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Tom. So it's really exciting to see how the program is helping leaders to level up practically global thinking. Now let's dive into the panel discussion. So we'll be joined by 4 distinguished panelists. Just one moment. Share screen. Okay, there we go. So, I'm really thrilled to be joined by 4 incredible leaders from around the region. So joining us from Indonesia, starting from the left, we have Dasrul Chaniago. She was once the senior management at General Electric. So currently he is the co-founder of PT Majoris Asset Management and co-founder of CFO Club Indonesia. Next, we welcome Gavin Huang, General Manager of Guangzhou HYJ Import and Export. Based in China, Gavin brings hands-on experience in ASEAN, China trade dynamics and cross-border business expansion in the export and import scheme. We are also joined by Tuong, Asia representative at AQUIS Capital, representing Vietnam and the region. He offers insights into private equity trends, emerging markets, and the investment climate across ASEAN. And from Malaysia, we have Audrey Chow, Executive Director at iPro Wealth Management. She brings a practical view on consumer behavior, investment patterns, and financial strategy in Singapore and Malaysia, particularly on luxury maternity segment. So welcome all of you. Thank you for being here. So let's start our conversation from the first question. Let's set the scene first. So let's begin with the big picture. So what makes the ASEAN market attractive for business expansion right now? Perhaps Dasrul, you would like to chip in first?
Yes. Hi, thanks, Woon, by the way. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Dasrul here from Jakarta. Well, what makes the ASEAN market is very attractive? I think without saying anything, I think we all know, the ASEAN is one of the sexiest region in the world. It's a few reasons behind it. Of course, number one, the population. Combined all ASEAN is around 600 million people now, and then most of them is very young, and then the ASEAN is a growing region. And if we zoom in, Indonesia in particular, of 600 million, half of it is coming from Indonesia. Indonesia now represents like around 300 million population with pretty much 60% is a very young generation. So why it is very attractive? Because we are a growing country, very low base country. And the most interesting part about Indonesia, I guess, we are in terms of the culture, we are loving consumption. Indonesia population love to consume, love to spend money. So this is very attractive market. I think for everyone who interested to, jump into Indonesia market. Sector-wise, by the way, of course, e-commerce is no doubt about it. Fintech like mushroom now, even Indonesia. If we look at the startup company, I guess almost half of it is dealing with a fintech related sort of the business. And then renewable energy is the other part of the country interest now. If we take electricity, for example, out of 100% is only less than 5%, which is coming from renewable energy. Well, the mandate from the House, which is the government has to address within the next 10 years, is about to increase the ratio of renewable energy from less than 5% to 25%. It's very attractive. And the other good part about renewable energy, we have wind here, we have water, we have geothermal, and then, of course, most popular sort of thing in Indonesia is crude palm oil, which is also, I would say, is good sort of a feedstock for the renewable energy. So, and then the other area is healthcare. And pretty much Indonesia is everything in all sectors is a very low base. Hospital bed is, I would say, it's a low base. Number of doctors is a low base in any sector that we're looking at. Indonesia is very low base. So anyone from whatever background in terms of their business, Indonesia, I would say, is very attractive to invest. However, it's not easy. I think looking at the area for people where to invest in Indonesia is very easy. Looking at a sexy sector for them to invest in Indonesia is very easy. What most challenging part, which is about the questions, is about how, because it is not an easy country to, I would say, to invest. It is not an easy country to make your investment having a good return. So I think a lot of news already, if you Google the news about market in ASEAN, Indonesia is one of the most challenging sort of country, for you to run a business. It's not an easy country to enter, and then even some news or some of the investors running out from Indonesia, reinvest their money in the other ASEAN country, Vietnam, for example. However, if you really want to invest here, you really want to capitalize the beautiful sort of the bonus in terms of demography, the growing country, which is consistently growing 4 to 6% every single year, then you must make sure you connect with the right spot in terms of not only the people, but also in terms of the strategy for you to enter the market. I think that's very important, because a lot of people are, I would say, quite desperate, because I'm helping a lot of business owners from Korea, from China, and also from other part of the Asia countries entered Indonesia. They're looking at a sort of the requirement to start investing in Indonesia is pretty much standard. It's flowing, and then describe it very well, and then you can have all documentation ready for you to capitalize, to jump into this country. But in reality, they expect like 2-3 months they can start a business. Some of them ending up 1 to 2 years. Even some of them cancel their plan to invest in country. So finding the right spot to enter, having a good sort of the connection or the good sort of the contact in country and then deeply understand about the regulation and then the process. And I would suggest also engage with maybe a consultant or whoever is close to you in terms of business and an experience from any success story already, if when people already invest in country. I guess that's a start for me, Woon. I don't want to keep going on this. Let's hear from other some of the speakers for us to know about the other countries' story. Thanks.
Thank you, Dasrul, for the high level about Indonesia market. Next, probably Gavin. Gavin, do you want to chip in a bit about what make ASEAN market attractive from your perspective? Gavin, you are muted.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Yeah, I think the attractive to Asian market attracted the business. I think the first one is the growing the population. This is the first one. I still remember 17 years ago, I working for China Textile Machinery Group. Our company investment roughly about 20 million to Egypt, also to Vietnam, to Cambodia, to Indonesia. We established the factory there. Because they have a bunch of a lot of the laborers. The young generation so easily can hire a lot of people for working manufacture. So maybe one worker is just $100 or $200 at that time, and the land also cheaper. I think this is the first reason we investment. The second is the stable economic growth. Because the customer from US or from Europe, they give the regular order to those countries, so we can so that we can have time to step by step to give delivery the order to the customer. The third is the location. Like the Egypt, like Vietnam, or like Indonesia. For example, in the Egypt, the free zone, they ship to the container to Europe only 3 days. The Vietnam, the Indonesia also. They near China, near the India, near Australia. It has easily to delivery. The third is I think the trade agreement, like RCEP and like AFTA. This reduce the trade barrier, and so I think this is the point. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks, Gavin, for the for telling us the import-export scene in ASEAN. So now let's go to Tuong to tell us about ASEAN market.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Tuong again. Just give you a background is that I work for AQUIS Capital. This is an asset management firm headquartered in Zurich, Switzerland. And we focus on hedge fund and emerging Asia opportunities. And of course, in the emerging Asia opportunities in particular, we have good exposure to Vietnam market. We were to run one of the pioneer funds there in Vietnam for the last 12 years. And we invest into the public equity there. So more or less, we know the insight of the Vietnam in particular and ASEAN in general. So answer the question of what is the attractiveness of ASEAN in general. I think nowadays people, they talk more ASEAN because of the timing, because of also the trade war. So ASEAN become more and more getting attractive in terms of the topics. But looking at what is a certain point, I think Dasrul and so Gavin also mentioned our fundamental point. We have the good population around 600 to 700 million, 700 million people for now. And for Vietnam case, around 100 million people. And then we have within let's say the 600 million people in ASEAN, we have a young population. For the case in Vietnam, we have around now is 70% of the population in the working age, and they are young. ASEAN is young. Vietnam, we have the on average age around 32 in terms of the on average years of the population there. So first is very important for fundamentals. And second is mentioned, we have also the good growth pace, and Dasrul also mentioned, and I fully agree with that. But the important is we have the certain growth rate, but then we also have the certain rapid growth in terms of the urbanization. For the case of Vietnam, I think we have around 40% of population now living in the urban area. And on average, ASEAN will be around that number, but we're increasingly fastly. That's really a big catalyst for upgrading the infrastructures and also another pieces and opportunities around that circles. And maybe last 2 points I mentioned about what is attractive for the ASEAN will be the strategic location. I think it's by history in general. So we have the strategic location for the growth and for the logistic. That's good for the trade. And during the Trump era for now, I think the story about ASEAN strategic location is increasingly more emphasized. And of course, we still need to explore more how we actually put the ASEAN in the puzzle of the global trades. The last one, I think maybe less people to mention is that on the top of the fundamental point, ASEAN we are attractive because of we have the really good certain growth, really different for the previous year is that really high the literacy rate, which is highly educated. Now, for the case of Vietnam, we have around the rate of the 97%. And we, after the war, I think we have around 10 or 15%. So we have significantly growth for that number, which is the quality of the labors increasingly a lot. Which you may know is that for ASEAN country or developing country, when the investor, before that they mentioned about ASEAN, maybe they care about the cheap labor for it, but they, I think more or less is relatively no more the critical point anymore, but more or less we have the number of quantity of skillful laborers. And we hope that will be the big trend for and also the catalyst for the ASEANs for the next 5 or 10 years. Thank you. Yes, Huang.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tuong. Okay, so now we go further to the south after Vietnam. Let's go to Malaysia. Audrey, could you tell us what makes ASEAN attractive at this point in time?
Hi, my name is Audrey. Thank you. That's a great question to begin with because Asian really is one of the most dynamic growth region in the world right now. We're talking about a region with over 680 million people, most often under the age of 35, and a fast rising middle class with an interesting disposable income. But what made ASEAN truly attractive isn't just its size, it's the diversity and connectivity. You have mature high-income economy like Singapore, emerging middle markets like Malaysia, Vietnam, and Philippines, and fast-scaling digital adoption happening across the board. Each country is different, but they're becoming increasingly interconnected through infrastructure, trade, and digital ecosystem. So it's no longer about entering one market, it's about tapping into regional platform. From a business perspective, we're seeing strong growth in consumer lifestyle sector, healthcare, educational, financial service, and wellness. For example, in my own work, I involved in a flagship project in Malaysia, a premium maternity and postnatal wellness center called Novus Heaven Maternity Center, just across border from Singapore. We're seeing real demand from families who are not just looking for medical care, but comfort, privacy, and wellness. But they're willing to pay for their experience. What also makes ASEAN appealing to the investor and entrepreneurs in the cost to quality advantage, you can build world-class services or infrastructure at a much more efficient cost compared to the US or Europe. Plus, governments across to the region are offering investment incentives, digitalization grants, and ESG frameworks to attract private capital and innovation. So, to sum up, I say ASEAN offer 1. Skill, a young growing consumer base. 2. Diversity and connectivity, unique markets with regional potential. And 3. Opportunity, especially in service that improve quality of life. 4. Cost efficiency. You can innovate affordably and still scale. And if you structure it well with the right cross-border setup and partners, ASEAN can be the incredibly rewarding expansion ground. Thank you.
Thanks, Audrey, for your perspective. Okay, now that we have spoken about the high level about ASEAN market attractiveness, so let's go back to something that's more practical, regulatory landscape. So what are some key regulatory hurdles that you have encountered? And how do you manage them when entering different ASEAN markets? Dasrul, would you like to take this?
Sure. Thanks, Woon. This is interesting, sort of the component that as a business player, before they decide investing in any country. Indonesia in particular, let me talk about Indonesia first. Indonesia in particular is quite unfortunate, to be honest with you. Just to be open here in this forum, we are, in terms of the easiness to invest compared to all around 200 countries in the world, we are not in a good number, to be honest. I think rank 97 something or close to rank 100, which I would say a very clear reason. Let me start with the regulation itself first. We, the government and the House, build and structure the regulation for people to invest in country is very robust. It's very, very good. I would say, put it that way. This is very comprehensive. However, the implementation is the big question. The bureaucracy is really complex. A lot of unnecessary sort of processes which is not in the regulation, which is in terms of the real one in the field, is just happening. And then that's quite unfortunate because it's been there for ages. It's been there for years. And that's number one. And then number two, I guess, the length of the process itself. Allow me to take Vietnam, for example. I think, Tuong, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. If you want to invest in Vietnam, for you to get sort of the license to start your business, I would say it will be less than a month. It could be only a few weeks. Which Indonesia, if you're lucky, in 3 months you can start your business. You are so lucky, So because it's about a culture. The key challenge for Indonesia in terms of regulation is about a culture, basically. Every single person who will flow in terms of the process, they want to play and they want to show that they have something, and they want to have sort of a piece of cake in terms of the business. Whoever want to invest in country. That's really pity, to be honest. So that kind of culture, is a bit homework for our current government, which is Mr. Prabowo just been appointed as our 10th president. So yeah, those two challenges, to be honest with you, is not easy. However, there is always a way, of course. I'm not trying to scare everyone here in this forum. There is always a way, which is for you to enter, to capitalize the potential running a business here, to invest in Indonesia, which, as I mentioned earlier, is about you must really connect with someone who knows the process. You must really connect with someone who can help you, to guide you, to make all these challenges become easy one. I know. I'm not saying that you cannot start your business within the existing sort of expectation 1 or 2 months. You can. You can have that kind of thing. It's happening, but it's very rare. Yeah. So again, despite those regulatory challenges, but again, there is always the harder you enter into the market, is the better the reward you will get. So don't give up. Don't say no. Indonesia is very lovely, very sexy market to enter, and then return on investment is very, I would say, darling. So never say no. Yes, despite a lot of challenges. I would say that's for now. Woon. Happy to take some question if any.
Yeah, later we'll go to a Q&A. Audience, just remind you can drop your question in the chat box if you have any question. We'll come to that later. Okay, so Dasrul, thank you so much for the practical perspective about the regulatory landscape. Okay, so now we want to talk about cross-border collaboration. So what role does regional collaboration play in driving success across ASEAN markets? So what are the success factors? Gavin, would you like to tell us more?
In my opinion, cross-border collaboration is played critical roles in unlocking economic and technological and social opportunity within the Asia market. I think first one is the market expansion. The collaboration enabled the company access the border, the consumer base on Asia's 10 member states, tapping into 670 million people. For example, we doing each country have the healthcare product or pharmacy product. They can easily to selling online with or maybe like in Lazada or Shopee or Tokopedia in each the B2C platform without a register. This is easily into the product easily into the market, selling to the end of user. And the second is I think the resource sharing and specialization, because the different countries in ASEAN have a varying the strengths. For example, manufacture in Vietnam, in technical in Singapore, agriculture in Thailand. So the cross-border partnership allows the company optimize the supply chain and reduce the cost and focus on core competitiveness. Yeah. I think also the number 3 is the infrastructure developer. Like Asians connected plan promote the integrated infrastructure cross-border roads, rail, energy, in boosting in trade in mobilities. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, it's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Gavin, for sharing. Audrey, would you like to chip in on this part?
Okay. Cross-border cooperation is not just helpful, it's essential in ASEAN. Why? Because while ASEAN countries share a regional identity, each one still operates under its own legal system, business culture, and market structure. Trying to expand operate in isolation, country by country, slow and risky. Cooperation helps you scale faster, share expertise, and access capital more efficiently. In our case, for example, we developed a cross-border model for our project Novus Heaven Maternity Center, a premium maternity and postnatal wellness center located in Johor Bahru, Malaysia. We set up our own holding company in Singapore for governance, investor access, and legal structure, while our execution team operate from Malaysia, where development costs are lower, talent is available, and healthcare demand is growing. This structure let us bridge two strengths. Singapore gives us financial credibility, family office access, and regulatory clarity. Malaysia gives us access to affordable land, supportive healthcare policy, and operation scale. And this is just one example. Looking ahead, we also exploring opportunity to work with partners in markets like Hong Kong, China, Indonesia, and Vietnam, especially in areas like medical expertise, market research, and regional expansion. ASEAN isn't about working alone. It's about recognizing that your customer, investor, and suppliers may all sit in different countries. The opportunity lies in how you connect them. So, to unlock ASEAN fully, you need to think beyond natural boundary and ask, who can I partner with the labeling country? How can I structure my company to benefit from cross-border incentive and investor network? What strength can each country contribute? That's the real power of cross-border collaboration. It transforms fragmented markets into one interconnected growth engine. And in ASEAN, that's where the real value lies. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Audrey, for this perspective. So now we will talk about emerging sectors and trends. So look ahead. Which sectors, panelists, which sectors or trends in ASEAN do you believe that have the most growth potential? Not just now, not only now, but also in the next 5 years. Dasrul, maybe you want to take this one.
Sure. Thanks, Woon. Well, again, I'm Indonesia, so we're going to talk more in Indonesia. But if we look at ASEAN, to be honest, pretty much similar across the board in terms of the potential sort of sector that people should consider to invest. Of course, e-commerce, fintechs is no question about it. Yeah. And then future trend is about, of course, renewable energy, about they call it, tech, electrical vehicle, for example, for automobile. But Indonesia in particular, of course, healthcare is one sexy area that people can invest. Renewable energy, as I mentioned earlier, that's another thing. And the other part, which is quite interesting, if we talk about Indonesia, is about addressing efficiency. So this country is, I would say, in terms of the productivity, in terms of the processing, not only product, but also the services. We are not that efficient. One obvious number I can share with you is about the logistic costs components contribute close to 26% of the GDP. Logistics is very inefficient here. So a lot of the different factors behind it. Of course, infrastructure is one of them. But with the current technology, the fintech, and some other sort of innovation, this area that people can take as consideration to enter into country in terms of the addressing efficiency, and then labor costs. Of course, of the 300 population, pretty much 60% is very young generation. Average age is 34.5 or 35. That's the latest sort of the data from the statistic. And then labor cost is cheap, but don't take it for granted for this. Of course, you need to manage sort of the association. That's one challenge. But in terms of the labor cost, Indonesia is very cheap. The good part, when you address efficiency, you tap into those sort of a good sector for you to enter. And then you combine with the demography bonus, because Indonesia has a lot to consume. And Indonesia, in terms of the GDP, I would say more than 50% is coming from consumption. It's not from production. That's sort of the market bonus that you can consider about the area for you to consider your money, your investment in Indonesia. Well, across ASEAN, as I mentioned earlier, it's pretty much the same. I guess Tuong or Audrey or Gavin can chip into that kind of the potentials of sexy sector for people to consider. That's pretty much one. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. All right. Maybe like Dasrul said, Tuong, maybe you can tell us more about the sexy industry in Vietnam.
Thank you, Dasrul. I like the word sexy in general. I think for ASEAN or Vietnam in particular, I think I fully agree for the ideas. I think when you look at a big country now, it's a country they try to increasingly either the trade or the FDI for attracting to their own country, right? And with that, I think the government, they try to do a lot to improve in their infrastructure by public investment. That's why you look at the number of the ASEAN as a whole, infrastructure investment for each country increasingly. I think the on average number last 5 years of 3% of GDP, whereas Vietnam in particular, I think around 6-7%. Their job is try to really do improve the landscape, and especially as Dasrul also mentioned, the cost of the logistic 28%, try to really cut the cost. So I think in general, what would be the trend? Try to attract more to trade, attract more FDIs. And now as a whole, with the trade war now, ASEAN become more and more attractive. That's why I mentioned about the opportunities. I think I break down on high level between the FDI and FII. For the FII, I think three aspects you can take a look. First is about the infrastructure that I mentioned. Second, very important in manufacturing hub, and then for the consumer. right? Now look one by one. You look at first in manufacturing. I think not a trend is already happening now. Vietnam, we also have heard a lot about the term they call the China plus one. They move from China manufacturing hub, diversify their supply chain, and Vietnam and also in general ASEAN is one of that. So if you want to make the good exposure investment into this trend, maybe you can have exposure into industrial park development, either for direct investment to the certain project, or you do the FII, which is you invest into the company that have exposure for that sector, or either you can invest to a certain port investment. You look at last year, the port business or listed company in Singapore related to port also increasingly significantly in terms of return. That's the idea for manufacturing. Infrastructure, I'm not really mentioned, but I think it's good for play around with the government funds or the big infrastructure sponsor fund. Whereas even for Vietnam, for next 5 years, we increasingly really much for the public investment for infrastructure. For example, for Vietnam, government try to plan for the large 60 billion US dollar to build the high-speed railway from north to the south, or we try to build a 5 billion US dollar big airport from the south. Also the theme. So with theme like that, not really sure, depend on the background of the investor or the business owner. If they try to expose more for the construction business or they more for certain desk project, they need, again, I try to see is that you want to enter the market, you need to find certain angle, as Dasrul also share. It's very specific for a certain idea. But of course, high level infrastructure is attractive. And last point to mention is consumers. I think consumer is no point. I think we have a strong consumers for Vietnam. For example, I think before the COVID, we have around 12% retail sale increasing per annum, and then during the COVID time, 8%. Last year, around 9%, and it's increasing. And for that number, what I'm saying here is the consumer is growing. Either you do for retailing, a lot of brands that newly entry to Vietnam, or you do certain business like retailings, or you do have the distribution also attractive. I cannot really go into detail for certain sector, but because it's really dependent on what angle and specific projects you go. But that's my macro idea for the FDI opportunities, which is infrastructure, manufacturing, and consumer. But you asked me what is the most attractive. I think manufacturing is something really timing for now, especially during the trade war between John, right? And last point I mentioned very quickly in the FII, the fundamental ideas of ASEAN or developing country is the FII is generally attractive because we have less attraction for last 10 years much. We call that undercover opportunities. And then they have the low base and potential for the high growth. We've been in Vietnam for 12 years with exposure to public equity, and we see that significantly. I would say we make the performance in US dollars for last 5 years around 15%, quite significant opportunities. And that's why I think, if back to the question, FII, ASEAN country, what's the opportunity you can look at? For equity, you can look at private equity or VC. I think now is a lot like Singapore is a hub. They use Singapore and hub, and then at a paddle to explore ASEAN country for VC, which is very vibrant for the last 5 years. But of course, for last 2 years, a bit winter. But I agree that the VC very emerging, like Indonesia, they try to invest into like emerging e-commerce or delivery business, try to exposure to the consumption market by the FII investment. That's all attractive. Second is, I want to mention is credit, especially private credit. Is a big number of the underbanked population in ASEAN country and not really sponsored by the banks. So I think if we can do some kind of the consumer lending business or some kind of the private credit, especially in Hong Kong, they do a lot of the private credit. So that would be also interesting because they are not really popular yet in ASEAN. So something new and something to explore. Lastly, you also mentioned is, of course, the public equity. Why our fund, AQUIS, we entry to ASEAN by a public equity funds, because what we see, they are more transparent and easier to have good exposure to the gerals of the growing trend of ASEAN. For example, if we see now the China plus one in Vietnam increasingly, we can have exposure to listed company in the industrial park sector, or we can exposure to the port sector. That is, in general, is give us a certain flexibility to earn the potential growth of the market. Tuong. It's a talk a lot, but I'm not. It's make sure it's a good exposure.
Sure. Really appreciate your perspective. I think we have Audrey to come in to share your perspective before we conclude the session. Yeah, Audrey.
Okay. Yes. Across ASEAN, we're seeking three major investment trends shaping the landscape right now. First, there's a strong shift towards real estate-backed investment, especially in healthcare, wellness, and lifestyle infrastructure. Investors are looking for tangible assets that also offer recurring income, such as private medical center, wellness resorts, and elderly care facility. In our case, with Novus Heaven Maternity Center, a premium maternity and postnatal wellness center in Johor Bahru, we see strong investor interest because it's offered exactly that via a combination of property, service income, and long-term demand. Second, there's a clear push towards ESG-aligned investment, especially from family office and institutional investors. They want to put capital into projects. They are not only profitable, but also socially and environmentally impactful. That's why at our maternity center, we incorporated wellness-focused design, sustainable material, and family health education, not just medical care. It allowed us to speak to both financial return and also the social responsibility. Third, and perhaps the most interesting, is that the investor today want more than passive return. They're looking for co-creation opportunity where they can play a strategy role in shaping the business, bringing their networks, or influencing regional expansion. This is especially true in ASEAN, where the best opportunity are often in early stage or mid-ground projects that still need market localization and operational steps. So, how should business align with this trend? One, build around real asset and recurring revenue, not just tech or digital hype. Two, integrate the ESG principle into your model early, not a branding exercise later. And lastly, be open to strategy investor who bring more than just money. Cooperation is a currency in ASEAN. When your business model speaks to all three, like our does at Novus Heaven Maternity Center, you will find that the capital become more available and more aligned with your long-term goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Audrey. Thank you to all the panelists for your great insight. Now we have a bit of time. Maybe you could take one question. In chat box, I just saw Rob, SEO, you have questions, right? Feel free to unmute yourself.
Hi there. Yes. So that's not my name, by the way. That's my company's name. I'm Gavin, founder of SEO. Nice to be here. I do have a question for all the four panelists, really. So my company, we do help businesses of various types, with growth consulting, essentially. But I was wondering, when it comes to the companies in Asia, do you think there's a bit of reluctance to, be approached by a company from Europe, for example? When I go, hey, we can support your business, etc., and they go, hey, who's this guy from Europe? So there's a bit of untrust, of distrust from, let's say, company from Europe approaching a business in Asia. I know it's a bit generic to say, because I've been struggling to get the connections with the leaders, or also making sure we get into some calls, etc. So aside from the time zone, do you think one has to have a presence in Asia to do business with companies in Asia in general, or is more about getting in front of the right people like everywhere else? Thank you.
Yep. Any of the panelists would like to take a question? Maybe Tuong or Dasrul? Dasrul. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Well, I thought the name is very cool. It's Rock. Sorry. Well, good to see you. Good to meet you here in this forum. Well, I think the question again, I answer is coming from Indonesia perspective. We are starving here for investor to come. I think that's an easy question, to be honest. But we do. I mean, if I reflect on myself, I receive a lot of sort of mostly emails, and then a message through LinkedIn, and through WhatsApp, which is about people or business player from Europe who want to enter into this country.
For services.
Investing and then for services. I would say the ratio investing and services, mostly services, to be honest with you, mostly services. Yeah. And the context about these, the expectation to be is more on people bringing money. That's just to be open with you. And then in the context of services, I don't know, because a combination of literacy is still not that high. Just to be open with you. And then the second one about the custom, about the custom of the country. People mostly tend to do it offline. People tend to do it to meet with person and then to work to involve in sort of the process.
So sorry, do you mean this is a more of an Asian thing these days?
I would represent Indonesia in particular. I can,
right. Okay.
Yeah. I know. I just be frankly open with you here. When we, or some of us here receive sort of offering as a sort of services, consultation or data statistic or whatever it is, and people say, "Hey, will this work?" That's number one, and then number two, hey, we're expecting people to come and join us as partnership. They bring money and when they run the business. But, having the kind of a component where services or advice or advisory also a crucial component for people to have a kind of a key success to run the business, that not that common. This is not a sort of the common yet. That's what I observed so far. But I'm not saying it's no. But someone who has already familiar with investing, with running the business, with a good literacy, they love to have this kind of conversation. They love to have this kind of offering. So again, back to my early statement of this forum, is about who you tap in country, who you start talk about your service, your business. If you find the right person, if you find the right connection, the likelihood for you to succeed is, I would say, is awesome. That's for me.
Thank you.
For myself, if I can add on, I think I fully agree with the Dasrul, but in general, the answer is yes. For the case of Vietnam, we look at Vietnam, we're exporting around $400 million every year, and we have 30% in US, around 12% in Europe. Of course, the opportunities. Back to the story of the service, the most important, Dasrul also share, is about the in-person meeting. I think you have to be patient. You have to go on the ground, meet the peoples, and take a beat.
I have to get on a plane, basically.
Yes. And what exactly with the approach? I think the approach, like, for example, Hong Kong, they have a certain agency they call, let's say, Invest Hong Kong. You can meet the people there, they're a government agency, very happy to talk with you and then understand the service. And from there, they help you step by step to go in. I think the most constraint when a European offering the service or accountancy to the ASEAN country is that do they actually understand the culture and the practices in ASEAN country? That's really important. And I think, again, back to the question, in-person meetings, step by step, and please try to work for the agency in the country.
Okay, thank you. Very interesting.
All right, thank you so much. That's all the time we have for today. A huge thank you to all our panelists and all the audience for joining us. So if you'd like to stay in touch and explore further opportunities with Asia CEO community, feel free to reach us out, CEO@asiaceo.club. So I'll be dropping that into your message. So until next time, stay inspired, stay connected, and keep unlocking opportunities across ASEAN. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.